As usual?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Welcome everyone to this week's episode of Comic Chat with Gat. The thing that I have just programmed into my head and it gives me nightmares. We are back for a one-off episode dealing with the new Rebirth. We went away at episode 50 and we came back at episode 52. Taylor, make that a note. There is no episode 51. It was lost forever, and now we're jumping back into it just like we are. So again, I am in Florida still. Taylor is not. He's living it up in the old Seattle.
I am.
Give a little tour of the digs real quick.
This is the whole place, though. It's 400 square feet. You can't see the other 200. We're halfway there. Behind me is my bed couch. It turns into a bed.
Bed couch.
There's Chris's surround sound, and right there you can see a speaker.
Housewarming gift.
I've got comics on the wall, as you know that I probably would. And then I've got the damn IKEA shelf that is for everyone's favorite IKEA shelf behind me, the Billy the Bookcase. But I'm turning that into just going to be for books once I get my books. But books are too heavy to ship, so they're coming later. And I got my DVD rack that I'm actually going to put on the wall, right? That empty space right there.
How many more books do you have?
Well, those are just Blu-rays and DVDs because I don't have my DVD rack up.
Oh, right.
So once I get the books, I put the books on the
shelf.
Just go
digital. Well, everything we're talking about today, we've done digitally. We never went to a comic book store. We did not support our local comic shop.
I did.
So that's the way we're going to do it in the future.
No.
That's the way we're going to do it.
Pick up your books at the store, as you should.
No. Well, I'm averting my eyes in this video because I am currently loading our script because we have a lot of things to go over today. Mm-hmm. And the thing that was supposed to be one thing has now turned into 10 things, as Taylor does, which is exciting. Yay. Welcome back, everyone.
Yep.
So this is a show devoted to comic books and all things pop culture, where in the past it was... I didn't know a whole lot about anything comics, but wouldn't you know it, Taylor told me not to read these, and he could fill me in, and I said no. I was going to read these. I didn't get them. I was going to read these, and then we were going to discuss this and get our huge reactions to the big change that's come to the DC universe. So I guess, Taylor, if you could, in like a brief synopsis of what's led up to the Rebirth, because I heard something about like the new 52 was always leading to this because it was like on the 52nd issue.
No, I think they decided that so Flashpoint happened, right? Created the new 52. We've talked about this in the past. I think even in issue 1 of Comic Chat with Gat to bring it all around. But when Flashpoint happened, it kind of just they wanted to be able to tell new stories. Kind of everyone was younger, and they even explained this in Rebirth. I thought. Rebirth is fascinating in every way.
Wait, let's also say this. No spoilers yet. I mean, we're not going to touch on...
Later we're going to talk about spoilers, for sure.
Exactly. So we'll get to this part if everyone's watching now. You can see this, and then we'll make sure you know when there is a spoiler coming.
Yeah, I mean, like, they... Snyder and Capullo, right? We love them. They finished up their run on Batman issue 51.
Not a fan how they split the last couple of issues into 2 different volumes. Gonna throw that out there.
Oh, you mean like the heavy
stuff?
Yeah, I know. It was like 4 issues or something. It was dumb.
Not with that.
But yeah, so I don't know. It's all been leading up to they did this whole Darkseid War thing, which was completely separate from what was going on in Snyder and Capullo's Batman. But the Justice League, it was kind of weird. I guess they kind of just were like, hey, they must have at some point decided they were just going to reset the whole thing anyway. And so they're like, look, we're doing this big world event that's going to blow everything up or something, sort of. Which really the big event isn't what blew everything up. It was kind of just what happens in Rebirth that fixed everything or changed everything. But it was definitely they had this giant thing going on, the Darkseid War, and Darkseid's fighting the Anti-Monitor, and then they defeat the Anti-Monitor, and then they kill the Darkseid, and all sorts of things happen. All the superheroes become gods of different things.
I mean, to take a step back from that, if someone, for me, who hasn't read any of the issues ahead of this, you were told in the first issue of Rebirth
before
to read
you say
Superman.
Anything, Chris, I just want to point out that both of those issues also came out today, so that could be spoiler territory, for the record.
Oh, we won't talk about what's in them then.
Right.
But they said to read Superman 51?
Superman 52 and Justice League 50. The first page after you open up the cover of Rebirth says... Make sure you read these 2 comics before you read Rebirth because you'll be kind of confused. And you're like, oh, so then, of course, we had to go
I wasn't that confused.
It wouldn't have been that bad. It wouldn't have been
that bad. I could have. There were a couple things that obviously we will not spoil here until a little bit later. Let's just do our impressions first, and then we'll go into actual spoilers because it hurts.
Well, before we get into the Justice League stuff, I want to cover this Captain America thing Because
you want to do this?
We'll move from
Okay,
Captain
yes.
America into Justice League, and then we can just talk about Justice League for the rest of the
I saw this as a headline. Actually, let's do this here. There's a link to the Rebirth talk. If you guys want to get right to the Rebirth, click it right here, and then it'll take you right to that part of the video. But yes, Captain America. I saw a headline. What's the deal here?
Okay, so new Captain America came out. I guess Steve Rogers got his powers back. He was old and 50 years old or whatever for a while there, or like 90 or something. Someone stole his powers, but he got his powers back. I don't really.
When? Who stole his powers?
I don't know. I haven't been reading that, so it's fine.
Okay.
But you should have to know that ahead of time. He got his powers from like a sentient cosmic cube little girl thing.
Ugh.
Yeah, Marvel. Good guys. So you're like, cool, that's fine. Like, I like Civil War 2 starting, and I've been liking what they've been doing with Doctor Strange lately, and I like the new Power Man, and Iron Fist was really good. But I know, Chris. I know. Power Man is Luke Cage from Jessica Jones. But
Yep.
okay, so so Captain America, he's young, he's beating up bad guys as per usual. He's got like two sidekick like people that want to join his like Captain America team. His girlfriend is becoming the head of S.H.I.E.L.D. instead of Maria Hill, and his girlfriend is Sharon Carter, which we saw in the movies.
I thought she.
But that who knows anymore? Everything Secret Wars happened.
God.
It's
Okay.
I don't even know.
Got it.
I don't know enough about Marvel, and it's not like I've been 100% caught up on DC either. So all of this is kind of new and kind of like what's been going on. But anyway, so he's fighting, and you're like, oh, this is really cool Captain America story. Everything seems hunky dory, pretty cool. And then it gets to the end.
Spoilers?
Spoilers right now. This is what everyone's pissed off about. Jack Flag is one of the two that were helping him out. It's like this guy that has like this like it looks like he's like the Red Hood kind of from DC, but he's just like it's like a loose fitting Red Hood. It's weird. So he jumps on the plane because Steve Rogers is Captain America is trying to defeat Baron Zemo. Baron Zemo has him pretty much on the Baron Zemo's winning. Captain America's like falling out of this helicopter, and Baron Zemo's like about to shoot him, but Jack Flag's like, oh, I'm gonna go help Captain America. This is gonna be awesome. He jumps onto the helicopter. He punches Baron Zemo in the face like a badass, and then they defeat Baron Zemo, and then Captain America's like, and like it's an internal monologue of Captain America. I guess backstory, there was a bunch of like Captain America as like a 7-year-old with his mom from like 1926. And this lady was super nice to his mom and taking her out to dinner, like this rich lady. And his mom was like, I don't really know why you're being so nice. She's like, it's cool. By the way, we have this really cool like group thing, and I know you've been trying to get your son out of like this like poor, negative attitude. The dad was kind of abusive and stuff like that. So like, obviously you're just around other people who don't have jobs, and it's that bad situation of like 1926 New York. Why don't you come to our thing? It's a little like party thing. Don't worry about it. Here's the pamphlet, and it was like a Hydra emblem. So that was just important to know. And so they're like your kid will be great there, like everything will be cool, it'll be like a good time to like it's just good people there. You're like good people. Anyway, so back in the future, he's like in his head, he's like, there's a few moments in your life that change who you are, and I wish I didn't have to do this because he really is. That this was a heroic thing to do to save my life, but he just literally punches him and kicks him out the back of the fucking helicopter. And killed we don't know if he's dead, but he just literally just kicks this kid. Like, he really is a hero. I really hate to do this. Kicks him out of the helicopter. Like a classic movie moment of like, you were a good guy. I'm really sorry to have to kill you. Like one of those situations that are like
it's
every
like Star
action
Wars,
movie.
Force Awakens. When
it's not like that.
Bad guy stabbed Han Solo.
No, it's not like that because he wanted to kill Han Solo. This is kind of like if.
I don't know.
Okay, whatever.
Because
The
it
point,
was nice
whatever,
and
Chris.
red.
Listen, we're not
I know
talking
more
about Star
Wars
Wars.
I'm going to Star Wars chat with Gad.
So
Tauntaun.
He kicks him out, and then like they had this like doctor captured, like Baron Zemo did, and Captain America looks at the captured doctor and goes, "Hail Hydra," and then it like cuts off, and you're like, and so basically what they're saying though is that Captain America has been a secret like Hydra agent for 75 years because he was indoctrinated when he was like 7. And that's just not Captain America. Like, it's so unlike the character that it's like it's almost like the most clickbaity piece of comic books that Marvel has ever put out, because it's like, why are you doing this to Captain America? Why?
And it's shocking how
of
it
all
comes
characters, like of all characters to try to ruin or like try to like, they've made Superman bad or good or whatever, and you're like, okay, whatever, Superman's not a American anymore. He's a man of the people. Whatever, that's fine. Or like, he's Superman, he's an alien. But like Captain America? Like that's like the most American thing that we have, and like you're just gonna just like make him. I don't know. It was real dick move.
How was the story though? How was the pacing? It was the first issue.
The
right?
issue was
no
really
trades.
good, and I was like burning through it. It was really long. It was kind of like must have been a pretty beefy issue. Kind of like Rebirth was kind of long, but Rebirth went by real quick.
Yes.
But it was really good. And Captain America #1, and I was just like, okay. Like, and then I was like, I don't see the problem yet. Like, I'm reading through it because I tried to avoid things, and I had people spoiling. There was worse spoilers for this Captain America thing before it came out than Game of Thrones, like, within an hour after that comes out. Like, Game of Thrones culture is crazy now. Like, those spoilers are everywhere. But, you know, I had friends like, what do you think? Or, like, you know, I got an email this morning from Joe Hogarty. It was like, Captain America is a Hydra agent. I'm like, damn it, I haven't even... The stores aren't open yet. You can't go and buy a comic book till like 11 p.m. at least. And like everyone's just like, oh my god. It's
AM. I'm assuming you meant AM.
Yeah, I meant AM. Thanks, Chris.
Yeah, I was very confused on the Seattle culture. Keep Seattle weird.
See, well, my comic book store's open till midnight, so there's that.
Yeah, and they probably got coffee and homeless people.
Not too much.
2 Seattle staples.
Yeah, actually, that's pretty true.
Nice, there we go. So recommended for people to
I
read?
recommend you read it just to be angry,
go on
or
issue
read
2?
it just to pee on it or something. It's not good, man. I'm so upset. Like,
well, you don't like the clickbait aspect of it, but you know the story paces well. Would you read this as the next issue?
Don't want to support them doing this to Captain America.
Okay. Well, I mean, how does that work in conjunction with? Wasn't the Falcon now Captain America?
Yeah, they were both co-Captain America now.
Great.
Mm-hmm.
That's like a president, vice president kind of thing, just in the time of the elections, which is good. But it was also very nice that they put this huge thing that got a lot of conversation about
the same day
that Rebirth.
That's why you're like, come on, guys.
Exactly. Yeah, I can see the clickbait. Like, no, don't look over there. Look over here. Remember Captain America? You just saw him in a movie, which we'll get into in a little bit. I might as well do that now, and we can get right into.
Well, I wanted to do all the movie stuff after the comic book stuff because this is This Week in Comics, Chris. We didn't say it before, but it's this week. I forgot.
Okay, wait. So are we ready to give our hashtag this week's last week, or are we going to wait a little bit later?
We have to finish Justice League, Superman, and DC Rebirth, then we'll go into the...
All right, so let's get into Justice League right now.
All right, Justice League 50. It was cool. There was a whole bunch of shit went on. You were kind of confused. You're jumping in the end of a story.
I had no idea what was going on.
Yeah, so spoilers this point on. We just want to say, because we're going to just talk about everything.
Yes, and we'll tell you when the spoilers are done, because we'll obviously have to talk a little bit about Superman. So spoilers for Justice League 50 right now, and go. There are 3 Jokers.
Three Jokers. So that was the big thing people were all pissy about when someone, like, there was a rumor, it was like, oh, we're going to give the name of the Joker.
This wasn't a rumor. This wasn't. They said we're going to give the name of the Joker's identity.
Like, oh no, but it could be one of 3 Jokers, so it doesn't even matter at this point.
Yeah, it's.
That was a pretty cool twist at the end, though.
Was that cool? Wait, which part was cool? The Joker? I didn't find that cool.
I liked that.
I was looking at it going like, what is that? I don't care. Because there's obviously Jokers on multiple worlds, so of course there's 3 Jokers technically, right?
No, I don't know if that's how they're doing it or not. I don't know how they're doing the 3 Jokers. That's why it made me more intrigued than upset.
So the big thing too is Darkseid. It's side, not seed, I'm assuming.
It's Darkseid, yeah.
Darkseid, okay, I don't know. The spelling is weird. Darkseid was killed. And who is the woman? Who is she?
She is the daughter of Amazonian lady and Darkseid.
Okay, so the Amazonian woman, is that not Wonder Woman's sister? Am I wrong?
No,
in that?
they're
or is that
all
Wonder Woman's
sisters.
Daughter? Oh, true. Okay, so she takes a baby. Who I don't know who that baby was.
No, that baby. Okay, so that baby. So I think you were confused there. Remember when we talked about like the Ultraman, Superwoman. Johnny Quick, Power Ring. Like, remember they're the evil. Okay, you played the Forever Evil version of DC. Did we ever play that? Either way, that's what my mat is. You know, the mat I have.
Yeah.
That's so. It was her baby with. It's not Ultraman's. She said it wasn't Ultraman's baby. Whose baby was it? Oh, Shazam's. Evil Shazam and
how did
Superwoman.
Shazam have a kid? I thought Shazam was a child.
Well, it's Evil Shazam,
which is not a child.
Shazam backwards. I don't know, Chris. I told you I didn't read up to that.
I just comic chat with Gat.
You know what? It's just like they're Earth. They used to be Earth 3, but who knows where Earth 2? Who knows what they are now? But
man, you're rusty. You got to get back on.
I know. I've been reading weekly, just not that one because I'm buying the trades now because we don't have to do this every week, Chris. I'm saving money. Well, get ready. Yeah, I better start fucking after. I mean, I'm really into Rebirth, so excited. Either way, Owlman, right, is the evil. Batman, and then so Superman.
And Owlman is not. So, I'm remembering this now.
Okay, Owlman, Ultraman, remember?
Yeah, okay. Ultraman is a Superman. Owlman is Batman.
Superwoman is Lois Lane. She's a she's basically Wonder Woman, but she's Superwoman. She has the powers of Superman. Then you've got the Crime Syndicate. They're the bad guys, and then Lex Luthor was the good guy. Right?
That's why they kept calling him Syndicate.
Right, the Crime Syndicate.
Right. Okay.
So there you go. You're back on track. So it looked like that. The ring that used to be on Power, so there's Power, whatever. The one that the Green Lantern-esque character from that.
Yeah.
Like, it feeds on fear instead of will, right? And so it makes you scared. And so it was on that girl who became a Green Lantern, I suppose. And
that was a big deal.
Grid went into Vic, who is Cyborg, during like the, I think, 5th or 6th volume of Justice League. So Grid is the evil part, like the evil computer part of so that's what was going on there.
And they let him go. Okay, so we're gonna speed this up a little bit because we're running out of time for the show. So the woman had the baby, the weird baby who can now take people's power.
Yeah.
Yes, stole everyone's powers, and then respawned itself into Darkseid.
Yeah, mixed
and then
with the anti-monitor equation.
Right, and then so when they were able to do that,
but it was a slave to her, like because the way she did it, it was like it was
linked to her. It was connected,
so she was like in charge of it.
Yep. So then Wonder Woman was kind of like, no, don't worry, everyone can be friends again. And then she's like, you're right. And so she killed her mom. The crazy woman killed her mom, which killed Darkseid.
It shot
severed the tie.
through, because of the way it shot through the mom. It severed the anti-life equation. Everything happened. Batman put on the ring to get off the chair, but he asked the question of how to defeat everything because he's super smart, and he asked the question about the Joker, who the Joker is.
But the big thing too, though, which leads into Rebirth, the only really part from this besides one moment is that the baby is still alive.
Baby and the lady, are still alive.
Yeah, so they're still alive, but they're somewhere else to raise themselves better.
Literally, baby.
But it's Baby Darkseid.
Yeah. Okay.
So that could be a great spinoff.
Justice League 50.
Going to school, I think that could be fun.
And then we're back into Superman number 52. So that was also a big thing. And when I was reading what?
Did they even touch on Lex Luthor and his homemade Superman costume?
Yeah, so Lex Luthor, he's the king of like Apocalypse now, apparently. Yeah. And so he has his own Superman costume because Superman's dying of a kryptonite poisoning. Vandal Savage infects Superman with like some sort of thing to take away his powers, or he takes away his powers, and so he's like, man, I don't have any powers. And then they're like, well, maybe you can jumpstart your Kryptonian biology by locking yourself in a room of pure kryptonite radiation because something. Yeah, it was a really dumb idea.
Didn't that teach him the burst thing?
No, that was before that. Like that was he'd already figured that out. So Vandal Savage stole his powers for something I don't remember. Because I didn't.
Sure. So now we're in Superman 50.
Yeah. So before this happens, like during Superman's been going through all these problems, but he absorbs all this kryptonite, and it made him strong again. But it's like slowly killing him. But so that's why you see him shoot green lasers out of his eyes, and he had green eyes and stuff all the time.
Yeah, I thought there was like a Green Lantern thing.
No. Yeah. So really he's got like this. He's got these kryptonite powers. Anyway, he's fighting some other dude who they explain in the issue was like hit by a beam that also had Kryptonian, like Superman's DNA, so he believed he was Superman. They have the same fight that's so similar to the original Death of Superman Doomsday fight that you're like, come on. But then they comment on it in Rebirth, so it's fine. He's like, the only thing I could do is bring him into space. Classic. He's pulling him into space. Another Superman comes out of nowhere, like another cool bearded Superman wearing the classic Kryptonian armor that he wore when he was revived by the robots, the robot things from the Fortress of Solitude in the Death of Superman. So you're like, that's weird. That's kind of a that whole arm. That's like the Kryptonian battle armor, the black.
I thought it was just like night pajamas or something.
No, it's not his night pajamas, unfortunately. No.
Okay, got it.
So he brings him up into space. He basically helps, but then but regular Superman's like, if you are as good as you seem to be, like you're basically other Superman. Punches him back on the floor. He blows up, but he absorbs because he's the evil, weird Kryptonian thing going on. He absorbs.
Well, no, because he did his power thing though. I thought he did that explosion power at the same time
or whatever, and then he crashes to Earth, and then he just literally just blows up, like he just explodes and he's dead.
He turns into like ceramic
dust.
Almost.
Yeah, he like turns into dust.
It was weird.
He like explodes and turns into dust. He dies. And
so they buried him. Clark is still around, but now he's got a beard. With Lois and their son.
Well, that's part of Rebirth, but
oops,
it's okay. So that's what happened. Superman died at the end of 52. Like it was called The Last Days of Superman or something. Anyways, so
kind of dies.
Well, that version.
The Superman we know, exactly. The Superman.
Well, the new 52 Superman died. Okay.
Touche. Okay. Yeah.
And then Rebirth. Okay, so it starts out and there's like this whole clock thing. I'm just gonna hit the points because we're running out of time of how cool Rebirth was. So
because it was long, it's definitely worth the read.
Oh, you should. This is definitely this week's last week, for sure. Rebirth is. It was like so the download, classic Jeff Johns story. Like it was absolutely amazing. It drew upon all the other crises. It drew upon Flashpoint, which he wrote. It was amazing. So Wally West is trying to break through the Speed Force. The original Wally, not new Wally that you see in like the show. But like classic Wally, who had the same exact thing happen to him. Like we talked about that in the first issue, like the chemicals
Dumb
and
thing.
So
Yeah,
funny.
the
And
exact same reaction.
he's trying to
demonstrate.
Yeah, and they show it too, and they also explain though, like it was like, oh, it was really because Barry called forth the Speed Force to hit him. Because you're like, okay, I guess we could be a little bit more real about it. And he's talking about Flashpoint, how Flashpoint wasn't just a mistake. It was someone was creating the events that led to Flashpoint. Not the events, but like they reshaped the world to their will, not just because they could.
Well, they saw the ability of Flashpoint, and then they
manipulated
it to
and you're like, what's going on? So there was someone from the Legion of Superheroes from the 31st century in there. She was the girl that was arrested. That was cool. Her Legion flight ring was the only thing she had on. I can't remember who it is, but it's one of them. I assume Saturn Girl.
Oh, that's what I was trying to remember. What that ring
Saturn
was.
Girl.
Yes.
I assume
Okay,
it's
cool.
Saturn Girl. So that was cool. Blue Beetle. They revealed that he's from magic. He's not alien.
It's just Spider-Man. Let's just get that out there now, and we can move on.
The Blue Beetle is
It's Spider-Man.
Yeah,
he's got to go to class, and he's got to wear the backpack.
But the thing is, he usually we thought it was an alien that the scarab attached to your back, but Dr. Fate comes in and he's like, "That's magic," so that's new and crazy.
Yeah.
Pre-New 52 Superman is there, and he has his son with Lois, and they know about everything that's going down, which is crazy. And they mentioned that he died literally the same way that Superman did back in the day. When the New 52 Superman died the same way, and they're like, "Isn't that weird?" And you're like, "Yeah, it's weird." Which I thought was awesome.
And then they were like, "Do you think Doomsday's going to come back the same way you've come back?"
That's no, they said, "Do you think he'll come back?" I think they meant like
I thought that he was Doomsday.
Clark. No, they meant
you think
they
so?
meant Superman.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they're like, "Do you think Superman's going to come back?" He's like, "I could only hope."
Yeah,
because I didn't die, right? And then that was cool because I just read Superman 52, so actually that was a really fun parallel. And then they also were talking about Superman being dead a lot, and then. The big thing is
hold on because we've moved away from a little bit more of the story of how they get to this big thing.
Okay.
Is that Wally's still traveling through time and he goes to try to find Linda. Linda doesn't realize who he is. He gives up on all hope, so he goes to find Barry Allen just as one last thing.
Finally tries to find Barry Allen because he tried to talk to Batman about it because that big thing that in the Flashpoint was the letter from Thomas Wayne to Bruce that Barry brings through time and makes Bruce cry, and it's super sad and super awesome. And so that letter still exists in this world, right? So it's something brought from this other world, and so Batman is one of the only people that knew that something weird like this fucking shit happened besides Barry Allen, right? And so so Wally's like, okay, finally no one I can talk to. He talks to someone from the Justice Society of America, some old guy that still remembers like the old times, and like he's confused. I don't know who that is, and I wish I like knew exactly what character that was.
I bet it's the dude from Thy Kingdom Come.
One of those guys, yeah, for sure.
He was probably the priest. Remember?
It's not the priest.
Kind of looked like him. Moving on.
That'd be crazy.
Right.
Wow. Good call, Chris. Man, look at you with those. Man, you did learn things. 52 episodes. 51. Whatever.
50.
So we are, so Wally finally goes to, he's like, finally, I'm just going to give up because I'm just going to be part of the Speed Force. He goes to Barry Allen as one last, like, not ditch effort, just to be like, thank you for everything you ever gave me. It's very similar to, like, in Final Crisis when Superboy Prime, old Superman, and old Lois were, like, trapped, and Lex Luthor from the Crime Syndicate Earth were all trapped in the thing, and they're all trying to get out. It felt very similar to that, which I loved. And so he comes back, and he's like, hey, and it's really, really heartwarming. Like, really, really, really.
Yeah,
this
is the part where you're going to get into I didn't care for. So go ahead. So he's doing the whole tearful goodbye.
Tearful goodbye, and then Barry, for something about it, clicks, and Barry's like, Wally! And right before, like, he's going to deteriorate, he grabs him, pulls him out of the Speed Force, and he's alive.
Didn't like that. I thought the goodbye was perfect. I thought it was the perfect way to say goodbye, and the tears and everything. The speech was great. And to bring him back is kind of like, just kidding. All those feelings you guys had, they're now gone because I'm still here. So you had to feel that sadness, like I was leaving, but I'm not leaving.
But he's back and super happy. So he's back.
Yeah, I know, but it's...
And he can help tell people what's going on. And so meanwhile, other things are all happening, and you're kind of confused. You see Pandora.
This is the part where I started flipping my shit.
So you see Pandora, and she gets blown up. And if you've read Watchmen as many times as I have, or seen the movie, it was super duper similar to a Dr. Manhattan explosion. But you only realize that
it was stolen. I could have sworn it was stolen when I read it. I was like, that looks dumb. Like, whose power is that?
Why are you going to steal Dr. Manhattan's power? But also, you're kind of like, you're not really thinking that way anyway. You're kind of just like, wow, she got blown up by somebody. That was it's familiar to me. Maybe it's Dr. Manhattan. I don't know, but that seems dumb. I don't really know why she just blew up, who this bad guy is blowing her up. You get later, Batman sees like something shining in his Batcave, and he goes to like pick at it, and it's the comedian's button with the mark on it, like the cover of Watchmen, and you're like, what?
Yep.
And you're like,
and they go to,
and it's like, who watches us? And then it zooms out in the epilogue to Mars, which is where Dr. Manhattan hangs out, to that watch, and he fixes the watch, and then it's the Doomsday Clock from Watchmen, and you're like, wait,
Yep.
so the Watchmen have been manipulating this thing the whole time of like they explained in the comic book that there was like 10 hours, like 10 years of their life was disappeared, and also like the love and relationships of all these characters disappeared, and showed like Oliver Queen and Laurel Lance, or Dinah Laurel Lance.
Yeah, I didn't understand that.
Well, because they used to be together, and then they weren't together in the New 52. They're just not even a thing, but they should have been, because they've always been. Like, they're like the couple, right?
Yeah.
And so it was a whole bunch of cool things like that.
Yeah, take that, Olicity. Son of a bitches.
Yeah, killing her off.
I was really sad about that. I know we didn't like her as a character.
But
really,
it made me really sad.
I'm not going to be a fan if Felicity becomes, like, the Canary.
No.
She would look silly doing that. I'm just not a fan of that. So as we're wrapping down this,
Chris?
well, we don't have very much time. So what I want to do is we're gonna have like this weird jump, but it's gonna be just Taylor resetting his phone. But as we wrap this up for DC Rebirth, how many issues is this? I didn't know.
Rebirth is one issue.
No.
Yeah.
When do we find out about all this Watchmen shit?
All that stuff has got to be just part of other things. You get to read Superman, Batman, all the other rebirths.
Damn it, DC! That worked. That worked on me. Now I got to read all these. Now we got to do a show every day. So this is obviously the first week last week.
Yeah.
What?
Are we gonna be right back? Is that what you're gonna say?
We're gonna be right back. It's not gonna look any different for you guys. It's gonna be a weird little jump cut, and here it is. 3, 2, 1. Hey, that was weird.
Hey,
here we are.
Back.
So we just got done going over the DC Rebirth, which I thought there was 2. Are you sure there's not 2 parts to this?
There's only DC Rebirth #1. I've
that
pre-ordered
is
everything I
such
possibly
bullshit.
can.
Damn it. Okay, fine. I'll read more of them. So of this, which story? Because there are a lot of things going on. Which story do you want to read the most? Which one does not interest you as much? Of the new stuff, like Detective Comics. There's gonna be, what is it, like Batman and Friends?
I think I pre-ordered all of them because I want to read the first issue. No, because you read the first issue and you kind of get a feel for it. It's kind of like
a pilot.
But I actually wasn't planning on getting Superman and Son or whatever it was called.
Yep.
But now that I know it's pre-New 52 Superman, I'm 100%.
Why?
Like,
I don't know what's the benefit of that guy.
Just because that guy is the guy that I read all the comic books of. Like, I remember when we were talking about when New 52 happened, I was like, what's the point of everything I've ever read? Well, now there's a point again.
What was... Okay, so you know this because you read the pre and you read some of the New 52 stuff. What difference was there? Like, was there like an ideological difference?
Superman wasn't with Lois. Superman was with Wonder Woman.
In the New 52?
Superman, yeah, in the New 52.
Got it.
He got his identity given away by Lois from being a jerk, and then he lost powers, and he got new powers, and he got kryptonite poisoning, and it's just like a whole bunch of blah blah blah.
Okay,
I don't care.
All right,
but this Superman is the one who died from Doomsday. This is the Superman that went through all the crisis events. This is the Superman. Like this is the Superman we all love and remember. And I think that getting back to classic Superman is the best thing DC could do right now because Superman stands for something, and I think we kind of lost that along the way.
Especially after BVS, which we'll get into in a little bit. What is the one? I mean, so would you call that the one that you're most excited to read again, Superman and Son?
No, I mean, I'm really, as soon as I heard about the three Jokers and stuff, I need to read all the Batman stuff naturally.
Yeah, I'm not really a fan of his new costume. I did love though the Green Lantern Batman. Did you notice that the Green Lantern?
Yeah.
I was like, that's pretty cool. So what's the one you're least excited about then? What's the one when you see it and you're like, ugh, I don't really need to do that.
I am only going to read the new Suicide Squad because Jim Lee's drawing it.
Okay.
But
who has he done in the past?
Jim Lee's the one who drew Hush. He drew... he's probably one of the best artists DC has. He actually drew all of the Justice League stuff in the beginning of the New 52.
That's cool.
He's amazing. And it's still sad that none of them have... I'm excited about All-Star Batman, which is the Scott Snyder's new Batman that's coming out, but that's not until August or September.
What's the deal with that? I
don't know, but All-Star Batman and Robin is the one that Jim Lee drew that Frank Miller wrote that was like, I'm the goddamn Batman, and he makes the yellow room for Green Lantern.
Oh, yeah, Lemonade.
Yeah, the Lemonade stuff, so it might be something... It's kind of like, just kind of do whatever you want with Batman, which I think is kind of what Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo did with New 52 Batman. They just kind of made their own Batman story up, so it's basically giving Scott Snyder his own, I assume... non-canon Batman
Right,
book.
so that was my question. So that's what this is going to be? This is going to be one of those?
I don't know. They haven't released a lot of information, only that Scott Snyder is writing it, and that's enough for me.
And which one is that again? I'm sorry?
All-Star Batman.
All-Star Batman. Okay, cool. Because Detective Comics is going to be the standard Batman because it's back to the
Detective and Batman are coming out, and both, I think, are every 2 weeks, which is going to be hell on everyone's pocket.
Yeah, and
all the new books are every 2 weeks.
But
Flash
they're cheaper,
is every 2 weeks.
They're cheap. They're cheaper.
Yeah.
They're like $2.99 versus $3.99, I believe, or maybe they're
Right.
$1.99 actually,
Something
because
like
they're
that,
less they're less in each issue because you're paying twice a month to get the damn things.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but you still didn't actually mention. Okay, so Suicide Squad, I guess. So what about?
I don't know. I don't know what I'm. I mean, I want to read the new Wonder Woman because the writer is really good.
Yeah.
He's wrote a lot of good stuff. I think it's Greg Peck, maybe.
What about Blue Beetle? I feel like that's going to be my new thing in this rebirth. I don't like Blue Beetle. I don't even know anything. I know nothing about it. People in the comments, please tell me why.
Booster Gold and Blue Beetle, Miss Ted Cord, the original Blue Beetle,
Yeah.
who is the dad of the guy that was making the Blue Beetle ship for the kid in Rebirth. He died as one of the big deaths in Countdown to Infinite Crisis. And Booster Gold goes through time. There's a whole series of comics where he even goes back to, which we have on our Comixology for the record, Chris. It's called I think it's 52 Pickup. It's Jeff Johns wrote it. Jeff Johns made Booster Gold awesome in this, and he goes back in time and is like basically his son Rip Hunter, who he doesn't know is his son, is his boss as a time cop. Whatever. So he sends him back through time to fix different things in the DC universe, and one of the things he sends him to fix is the Killing Joke. So he's like, go back, because he keeps arguing with Rip, and he's like, just send me back to go save Ted. He's my best friend. We have a time shift. Send me back. I can go save Ted. Be a good time. It's going to be awesome. And he's like, we can't. He's like, stop telling me you can't. Don't be a dick. Just send me back. Like, this is bullshit. Of course you can. You're a time cop. I don't give a shit about any of this. Just send me back to send one person. Like, we're saving all these other people I don't give a shit about. Let me save my best friend. And so he sends him back. He's like, okay, well, here's one thing before we do that. He sends him back to the Killing Joke. And he's like, stop the Joker from paralyzing Batgirl. And, like, whatever. And every time he tries, he fails. Like, he just continuously fails. Yeah. And it's basically kind of what they said if you watch Legends of Tomorrow.
Yeah.
Rip Hunter says, that yet. Well, he just says, at one point, he says that time will try to make things happen the way they happen. Like, time tries to fix certain events, so you can't stop them no matter how hard you try. And that's the lesson you have to learn, so that Rip Hunter could be like, and Booster Gold's death is one of those things. You just can't. So he proved it with him trying to save Batgirl, so that he could prove that, like, that was the thing. Because otherwise, he might not have ever given up trying to save Booster Gold. But, like, this other situation, he's like, see, I'm trying to tell you. This is what I'm trying to tell you. So anyway.
What does that have to do with Blue Beetle?
Because Blue Beetle's his best friend, and you're trying to save him.
I guess that's how you draw the parallel or the connection.
And Night Owl is a mixture between Blue Beetle and Batman in The Watchmen.
Oh,
like, think about
how long has Blue Beetle been around?
A while. It's a long time.
I've never heard of him.
They reference Blue Beetle in Arrow. There's Ted Cord Industries is one of the places, and that's Ted Cord.
I think I remember you telling me about that. Okay.
Yep.
So. All right, so that was the big this week. Last week it was very extended, just going over everything.
It's actually this week.
Oh, you're right. It's this week. This week.
Yeah, in comics.
So we went over Captain America #1, which was a big clickbait, is what we think. What do you guys think about that? And if you will read #2, let us know. I know Taylor's going to probably read it anyway. Justice League 50 had the reveal of 3 different Jokers, and then the other one, Superman 52, had the Superman from Death of Superman, pretty much mirroring Death of Superman, and that led into DC Rebirth, which was great. Featured a lot of Wally West leading this story, which revealed that the Watchmen were in control of all of this from the beginning, even from Flashpoint, which obviously we can both agree on. They never planned this from the start. It's just a happy thing that they were able to work into.
But bringing the Watchmen into the true DC universe is crazy.
Very strange. Yeah, so it would be cool to see, because they're Vertigo, right?
No, they were always DC, but originally Alan Moore was trying to use the Question, the Atom, like it was like Earth.
Oh, yeah.
It was like Earth something else, but they got cold feet, and so they just created a new universe.
Okay.
But it was also published by DC.
Well, cool. So that is our hashtag this week's last week, but this week's this week.
You should watch it. I mean, you should read it.
Definitely. And if you guys have read any other ones this week, let us know. One thing I want to touch on before we go from the backlog is the thing that was revealed today by Comixology, which is their new subscription-based process. You can actually sign up for, I think, like maybe $10 a month, and you get access to everything that's not DC and Marvel. So that's kind of cool. Like, you can read into Wicked and Divine was on there. I think some of the Walking Dead was on there.
Wicked and Divine is great.
It was nice. Like, it's a cool thing when you read into the fine print, though. Most of it is just volume 1. So you'll get all these volumes, but then when you want to get it deeper, you have to start paying again. So like, do you see there ever being a successful subscription model? Like Marvel has theirs, but isn't I believe Marvel's like you don't get the new issue till 6 months later. DC hasn't even launched theirs.
I'm just gonna pay. I don't care. Like,
I mean, there's a lot
I want to pick and
going
choose.
on.
I also don't read enough of everything to warrant that. It's not like Netflix, where Netflix.
Are you sure? $10 a month, man, and you can read as many as you want. That you only read 5 issues.
Okay, $10 a month if I could read anything I wanted.
Right.
Then sure, but that's not what it is because they lose money.
It is. I mean, it is that way with Comixology to an extent, where I'm not sure,
but not the things I want to read.
Exactly. That's the big thing is that DC has yet to reveal, if they ever will, their subscription model. Which, by the way, with Rebirth, they're really missing their chance here by not having a subscription model. I personally, and I'm not even a comic book fan, I would pay $15 a month to read all of the new issues easily, and that would still like I could do that. I would. You know what's weird? I'd probably go up to 20. Like it's because there's so many things I want to read, but I can't see myself death by 1,000 cuts. Keep doing $1.99 every 2 weeks. I would totally do it for like $20 a month, but it has to be like day of. I can't. I'm not doing 6 months later like Marvel now does. But yeah, that's a big thing. Let us know in the comments what you guys think. We're mixing some news in now with the comic chat with Kat because it's everything makes sense. Taylor comes with the background, I come with the new stuff, and that's how we kill him. The new guard and the old guard.
Oh no! I'm being
and now you know
being replaced.
So from the backlog, we're going to get into some things because it's been a while since we've talked. So let's just do rapid fire. I'm going to name the movies that have come out recently. We'll both give our quick, 2-sentence synopsis of it, what we thought about it. First one, obviously, number one grossing superhero movie of all time that's rated R, and then
it's rated R, yeah.
Yeah,
Civil
and
War
then
just beat that.
Yeah, definitely not. And then the number one grossing movie compared to Batman vs Superman, which makes me really happy domestically. Deadpool. What did you think of Deadpool?
I loved it. Initially, I was bummed because it was exactly what I thought it was going to be, if that makes any sense. So, like, the trailers kind of told me what I was seeing, and I wasn't surprised. I was just like, that's a Deadpool movie, and it's done very well. Like, excellent. Yeah. But I've rewatched it like 4 or 5 times since I bought it on Blu-ray. So,
okay. Are there things you're missing? Like, are there little things here and there that you haven't seen when you were watching the movie? I thought everything was pretty cut and dry
nothing really new. Sometimes I hear a joke. Like I think I heard a joke or two that people were laughing over. I assume in the theaters when I saw it the first time. But yeah, it's really good. The behind the scenes stuff was all really great, and it seemed like they really cared about all the characters, and everything was pretty darn accurate. I felt that Deadpool shouldn't have gotten with the girl at the end. I think she should have died or something because that was a little out of character.
Spoilers.
Deadpool's in love with death. Whatever. It's been like months. Deadpool is in love with death, like the actual physical manifestation of death, and so it's kind of like he's too crazy for this, but I get it. Like I get where they're kind of keeping it, and they didn't do the multiple personalities because it's too hard to do on TV, and so that's fine. What'd you think, Chris?
So I thought it was good. I mean, it was kind of like what I was telling you about. I saw it, and I guess it actually has the same reaction you did. I saw it and was like, oh, okay, that was the Deadpool movie. That was great. I laughed, definitely. I mean, I thought it was funny. I thought it was still ridiculous that parents are bringing their children. Anyone less than 17 shouldn't be in the movie. Like, there's a freaking 8-year-old there. And during the very going-on sex scenes that are happening in the first half of the movie, like, they're just trying to... Just stupid. But anyway, but yeah, I would probably want to watch it again to see if it has any lasting value, but I don't know how much value it has when the jokes are great. But, I heard it. I've heard it already. There are no little things I'm looking for, like with the Marvel movies where I could see, what kind of little Easter eggs that they leave around. But it was
on Voodoo for us,
Yeah, I know. I can't really get around to watching it just because there's so many other shows and movies that have come out that I want to see. One of them that I was hyped about that I don't even know how I feel anymore is Batman vs Superman.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're polarized on this one. I'm not sure. I think you liked it.
I did like it.
Did you? Okay, so you're shaking your head yes and no, or nodding yes, meaning you loved it or you liked it? I guess we'll do an arbitrary scale of 1 to 10. What do you think? Don't even put a decimal in there. But what do you think?
I don't know. I think it was an 8 for me.
Really?
Good, solid
okay.
8. Yeah, well, okay. There's a lot of problems, and I don't disagree with anyone's problems with this movie. They're all correct, but I got to see parademons fighting Batman with an Omega symbol, and then I got to see Wonder Woman doing cool Wonder Woman things, and I got to see a shitty
Superman.
Okay. Yeah, Superman, but there was parts that were like very Superman-y, like he's always trying to save people and stuff like that. I don't know. I saw all the redeeming qualities, and for that,
Now,
it just did it for me.
So are you putting the redeeming qualities at Zack Snyder's directing and writing of the story and like how he composes the characters? Are you saying it just looked pretty because it was your characters and you like the way it was shot versus the actual substance?
I mean, I was still upset that Batman used guns, but there are comic books that he has done that, and so you're like, okay, well. Also, post the death of Jason Todd, he was a little bit more willing to do bad things because he was really upset about that.
Which confirmed the statue was Jason Todd. Confirmed this week.
But that was like the dumbest confirmation ever. It was like, they've decided that it's Jason Todd. You're like, no shit, really? What? The guy that was killed with a crowbar by the Joker is Jason Todd? I had no idea. But yeah, it's I think it was more that I was just the redeeming qualities of that movie for me was just the fact that I was seeing these things on screen that I wouldn't have seen previously.
So and I call it cinematography.
You can also just call it fanboyism, is what you can call it. You call it my love of DC.
Thank you. Yeah,
overshot the poor quality of the movie.
Sure. So I'm kind of in like the same boat. I'm not I'm a DC fanboy over Marvel. I'm not really a big fan of Marvel in general, just because it's when I read a comic book, I kind of want it to be grittier. That's mainly because I grew up reading Batman one-offs. You know, the Hush was one of my favorite things to read. So the one thing I can sum up in this movie is that I remember watching it and they're doing the car chase, and at one point Batman is chasing and just murdering people, just straight up murdering people in cars and with guns everywhere. But he turns a corner and then the lights shine on Superman just standing there, and I got excited. Like I was like, oh my god, cool. That's so cool to see. And then, you know, obviously the fight with Doomsday was just garbage. And the fact that they made multiple announcements to how there's no one working at 6 p.m. on a Friday on this island.
Like,
I was so angry at that. I was like, I get it. But I think it's pretty telling the way that DC has now reorganized itself with Jeff Johns, who's going to be the co-head.
He just wrote Rebirth.
Yeah.
And Rebirth was so good that you're like, please. I mean, I've always wanted Jeff Johns to be the Kevin Feige of the DC universe, and now he is.
They've got that, and then he's like co-leading it with some other dude who's like an executive in the Hollywood world, so they can have this guy who knows the art and the style of it, and then you have this guy who knows how to navigate everything, which is great.
Also, you have to think about the fact that this movie, I think that the reason why it was so many movies put into one is because they really wanted to jumpstart the next set of movies. And so you kind of have to think about this as a springboard for movies that will have a much more cohesive, like, better story to them.
So long as Snyder's not really a part of it. Like, Justice League, I am so not excited for, because he's still there. I get that Affleck has like his executive producer or even a producer credit or whatever, but that's nothing. Like, he even has like some say in the cut. I doubt it. But just the fact that it's already been written, it's already been, it's being worked on right now. It's already shooting. I'm not. Are you excited still? I mean, I get it. Seeing everyone together is great. But like, well, this is I'm talking to the fanboy though. That's the issue.
Yeah, that's the problem.
Yeah, I am as a non-critical fanboy. I mean, I'm still a fan, but I don't know. It doesn't hit me that well. I still want to see Wonder Woman. Obviously, not directed by Snyder. Suicide Squad's gonna be great. Not directed by Snyder. Even though there's been some like rumblings that like the third act, which is why they had to go do those reshoots, is not very good. But what third act in a movie is, but. I don't know. So Batman vs Superman, polarizing. I'm going to watch it again, no doubt about it, when it comes out, unrated, 3 hours. I want to see what they put in. My theory, and I think I've talked about to you with this, is that when they invaded Facebook's camp, which is also Lex Luthor's space, there was a bunch of bullets everywhere, and they're like, there was a battle here. They're going to show the battle. Like that'd be silly.
Cool. I think they're also going to show like that whole dark side kind of Steppenwolf or whoever that was.
Yeah.
The deleted scene that they went on the internet later. They're going to add a lot more backstory to what the heck like Lex Luthor's talking about, and maybe what made him go a little bit more crazy than he already was. Like I don't know. Lex Luthor was a little bit disappointing. He was fun, but not Lex Luthor.
We can agree though. Batfleck is great.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god. I'm very excited about his standalone movie. It's going to be awesome. Rumors that it's going to have it's going to be the Red Hood storyline where Jason Todd comes back and then all that crazy stuff. So the last one, though, is Civil War. I know I just got done saying how I'm not really a fan of Marvel. I like this movie. I thought it was good.
The movie was great. Yeah, it was great. The Spider-Man stuff was all excellent. Black Panther stuff was all excellent. I feel like it was so highly rated that there's not much we can really say.
No, I mean, do you have any... My detraction from it is that... I don't know. I just don't get the same kind of feeling I get from Marvel as I do with DC. And it may not be. I guess it's because I'm so accustomed to the was it Christopher Nolan Batman trilogy that I love those, and I love the feel of it. Popcorn superheroes don't really do it for me, unless it's Guardians, where I know what I'm getting. I don't know, it just doesn't do it for me because they try to layer on the drama of Cap and Iron Man fighting with Bucky there.
I think they captured the essence of what the argument was in the book very well, though.
They did. I agree with that, and then, it was cool how they were able to scale it down to make it more digestible for people. So they did well with their cast. That airport scene, the best fight scene of any comic
my gosh.
That was
so good.
Dope. Especially when he became...
I was mad that Rhodey didn't die, though.
Yeah. Well, I was mad that Cap didn't die. There's a cattail right there. I was mad that Cap didn't die. Because, I mean...
He'll die in the next one. They have to make Zemo an actual good enemy so that he could brainwash Sharon Carter, and then she can kill him.
That's true. Because, that was one of the big... The anime in this was just silly. But, okay, so I think that's everything. Oh, TV news. So you talk about the TV news, because I didn't watch anything of Supergirl.
I love Supergirl. I watched all of it. It's all on Vudu, by the way.
Yes, I remember you telling me that. I wasn't going to watch it unless it got a second season, which...
And it does, and the second season's now on CW. That was the big announcement last week, I think. And that's super exciting. That means that they showed up a teaser that they're going to have Supergirl, Legends, Arrow, and Flash all have a crossover together.
Right, which is going to be freaking
And so
bananas.
here's my idea of how they're going to do this. They're going to have to do some sort of Flash, crisis event that makes Supergirl's just her single city come to the universe that Flash and Arrow exist. Because you can't have Superman, you can't have Batman, you can't have all these people that Supergirl mentions or sort of mentions or all that stuff going on. They might not even want to bring Martian Manhunter over because rumor is budget's getting cut and he's probably one of the most expensive things on that show.
Yeah.
And so if you're going to get rid of him, and you might get rid of rumors, or might get rid of who's my favorite character actually is Calista Flockhart's character, and you're going to bring him over, then have whatever her city is, it's National City, just literally disappear from that Earth and just appear in the Flash Arrow universe and just have it that way.
Yeah. So that's I mean, I'll have to obviously watch it. Because I don't really usually watch a show that I don't know much about until it gets renewed for season 2, because I don't want to waste time, But then, so there's 4 big, because we can kind of take off them off the table until next season, like you were telling me, the Court of Owls.
Well, Court of Owls is there's a big thing happening at the end of the season, which is super exciting, because that's a Snyder thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I might have to start watching the end 5 episodes just to see what the hell's going on over there. But I'm just so tired of they're doing everything they should be doing with Batman, but Batman's not Batman yet. Right. So you're just wasting. I don't know, he's never going to grow up. It's kind of like Smallville, where you're just okay, well, this isn't really going to go anywhere ever. You're going to sort of do the things I like, but not quite do the things I like. And I just kind of get
yeah, I agree with that.
Annoyed by
it. So the big things are, I kind of wanted to do this because tonight, as we're recording this, the Arrow finale is going on for season 4, and then Flash was last night. Legends is over by now too, right? That was 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, it was last week, I think.
What did you think of Legends as I haven't watched that either. What did you think of that as a first season?
It got better and better and better and better.
Okay.
I really liked Legends by the end there.
Now, do you equate it to
No, there's one more. There's one more Legends this week. There's one more because of there's a thing that happened with Captain Cold that I'm really worried about. So and I read that there's still a finale this week. So, do
you angle this towards a Flash where it's comic book heavy, or Arrow where it's relationship heavy, character driven more?
Both. It's a weird mixture of things.
Yeah? Is it fun? Is it easy to follow?
It's really fun. It's Doctor Who with superheroes.
Oh,
is
cool.
What it is. You're traveling through time. They go back and see Jonah Hex at one point. Back in the Western times, and they're traveling through time trying to find Vandal Savage and always in a different outfit. They've changed their outfits for the place they're at. And there's an overarching story. It's basically especially because the guy that plays Rob Hunter was in Doctor Who. He was a companion.
Oh.
And so it really does feel like Doctor Who with CW superheroes. And I'm interested to see where they're going with season 2 because a lot of the characters split off and did different things. So maybe that was the finale, but I feel like it couldn't have been because of I don't know how they would fix that with Captain Cold. I don't want to give anything away, but there's a thing that happened. And I'm really concerned about it actually because he's how much I love Captain Cold.
I love Wentworth Miller, who is the actor for Captain Cold, which Prison Break remake coming this year. I'm very excited.
Yeah. So I haven't seen Prison Break at all.
Oh god, it's terrible, but it's so good. The first season is really great, and then they're like, "Let's keep going," and they're like, "But he's already out of the prison." Spoiler, I guess. And then they're just like, "Oh well," and then they just it was really weird because at the end of we'll go right back to this, but at the end of the first season, was supposed to be the series finale. It was supposed to be a mini-series event. And it got approved for a second season. So at the end of the first season, there is a bunch of stuff happening, and it's supposed to end, but then there's this weird cut, and everyone goes, what do we do? And then the weird cut happens, and Wentworth Miller looks at the camera and goes, we run. And that's the end of the first season. And then the second season starts, and for some reason everyone's much older, but it's only like 5 minutes after the end of the first season, and he's got a beard, and it was weird, but it's just such a great show. I've rewatched it probably like 3 or 4 times. Very fun.
Wow.
But this leads me into Flash and Arrow, the staples. Flash is finishing up the second season last night. You have not seen it. I have seen it. I will not talk about it at all. I guess we'll talk about it on the next show. I can't believe I said that. But yeah, I will say that, and this is not spoiling anything, as someone who has read the comics, and you have read the comics, you can see where they're going. It's kind of cool. It's kind of cool, the take that they're doing, and you're like, oh, I know what they're doing. I will say, though, nothing to spoil again, the acting is some of the worst by the halfway point. The first half, Grant Gustin, great. He's always been great. But near the end of it, they had this weird thing where they were like, it looked like they were reading genuinely off cue cards, where they're like staring off the camera, and then everyone has like a cut, and then they'll look at them and they'll say a line.
Which episode are you talking about?
This episode of Flash that you're going to watch, The Fastest Man Alive or something. So you're going to see that, and it's going to look so strange to you, and it threw me out of it completely. But again, that was just kind of griping. What I kind of want to complain the most about is how lackluster Arrow's been this season. Like, this is our last topic of the night. What do you think? Like, what are you?
I've been liking Arrow. I think it's fine.
You don't think the focus on Olicity is too much? You don't. I mean,
it is too much. I'm still mad that Black Canary's dead.
Yes.
Because Oliver should have ended up with Black Canary, and they're not bringing her back. They even said, like, no, she's dead off Arrow. We'll bring her in Legends, maybe. We'll bring her in
Flash.
They had her in Flash as a bad guy. The alternate universe version.
Which her representation was way better than anything in the Arrow.
It was better than actually what I was most upset about is the girl that stole Black Canary's Canary Cry at the when she died was a better, like, her Canary Cry worked better and did more cool shit than Laurel's ever did. Like, Laurel's Canary Cry was the most useless fucking thing. It was always like, that's kind of annoying, let's shoot at her. Like, whereas like this one, it was breaking glass, it was holding bad guys up.
And Earth 2, Black Canary was awesome.
Yeah, Earth 2, Black Canary was even more awesome.
Tearing down buildings and shit.
So, yeah.
So they had like a showrunner change happen in Season 3, and now Season 4 had the real focus on... I think personally that they're doing this big focus on Olicity because the teen demographic on Tumblr really likes him, and then that's the golden egg for us in advertising for people to have to get so they can sell the ad space. And I don't know, it really took it away from me this season. I don't like the enemy. I don't like, what is it?
Yeah, but I do really like Mr. Terrific. He is awesome. The black guy with the he's
is that him in the show?
Comic books.
I don't know.
Yeah, but he even has T-spheres and stuff like that. He's black guy. He's like a super smart black guy that makes things float and shit, and is awesome. And I think he's
great as a character. Yeah, it's just any time that I had to meet Felicity's parents on multiple occasions, and then most of the episode were like devoted to her. Like, I'm not really into that. I mean, she was cool as a character. She was great as a supporting character, but now she's acting more as a crutch. Like, when they can't figure something out, they're like, well, let's have Felicity have family problems, or like she's upset at Oliver, and we're gonna spend 45 minutes on this, and then have the villain of the week come in, and they're gonna solve the problem while they solve Felicity's problem. I don't know, but let us know in the comments below what you guys think. Any Olicity fans out there, I'm sure you're gonna let me know exactly what you think. But yeah, I think I have on my docket 54 minutes for our first episode back. It was a long show. See, what sucks is that we need to get this thing up soon. It's not 10:30, and I'm going to...
I don't know if I'll have it... well, anyway, let's just wrap this up, and then we'll talk about this afterwards.
Okay. Well, everyone, bye. No. This has been Comic Shop with Gap. We are a show devoted to all things comic books and popular culture. That may be back at another time, like Rebirth. Who knows? But really, you can find us on Comic Chat WGAT on Twitter, and then Comic Chat with Gat on Instagram, though.
Nope, it's WGAT everywhere.
Oh, wow. Okay.
We changed it.
So Comic Chat WGAT on Twitter and Instagram. You can follow me at That Chris Gatley, Taylor at TCatch, TK4TCH. And then you can also follow Taylor every week. He does every other week. He does a show with Joe and Kyle about the Cardboard Box, which is devoted to all things video games. And then there is Real Retro, which is about movies. And then I'm pretty sure Not Yet Rated.
Not Yet Rated actually has been doing
that
stuff.
still?
Yeah, they've been doing a little bit. Yeah, they did Batman vs Superman.
Yeah.
And they did... Hardcore Henry recently. But yeah, it's those are all happening. But you can all, of course, subscribe to us here at the Comic Chat with Gat YouTube channel, and subscribe to them at the CBX Cast channel, and so you can get everything that everyone does.
Yeah, take a look at some of our old videos. We have Let's Plays. We have where we go over superheroes and their histories and what we think about them. But really, just a deep dive, Comics Explained style. It's great. But yeah, that is it. That is the rebirth of DC Universe and the rebirth of Comic Chat WGAT. So
let us know actually how you thought of this format. Like, do you like it? Is it okay?
Yeah. Did you make it to the end? If you made it to the end, thank you. I'll be able to check in analytics if you're lying. But if you made it to the end, good for you, because an hour is an hour of everyone's life. So, goodbye, everyone.
See ya.
I'm going to press off on my button.
I don't even know if I was cut off or not. I have no idea how this whole thing worked out.